Good morning, everyone. um, yeah, it's very interesting to feel called to be seen, to show up, and to speak. And working on my poetry and sharing that with the world honestly has been a lot easier for me, which is fascinating, than actually showing up at this capacity that once was so familiar to me. Um, and so I'm trying to bring that level of vulnerability and openness to these videos. So, with that being said, hi, good day. I can't promise whether this is going to be consistent. I can't promise if this is going to be one time. I don't know what this is. Many of you who have worked with me know that I consider myself a steward and a servant to the divine and to the creator, infinite love and wisdom. And that is the impulse that I follow. I don't believe that I'm here to follow any sort of system in place other than the systems of my heart and what I'm being told to do. And in this moment, I feel that it is really important to kind of let people who are in my soul tribe, let people who are in my circle, who are feeling or experiencing major transitions, to know you're not alone in this. There are a lot of things that are shifting. It's almost like we've been living this life for so long, and now it is literally time to start elevating. Um, in the spiritual community, they use the term like hopping timelines, switching timelines. In my personal experience, it does feel like a death and a rebirth, right? Like I'm letting go of this entire life, this entire routine, this entire identity, this entire thought system, this entire, right? And more so stepping into the next level. Sometimes I even like to think of it like a video game, right? It's like you go through the video game, and then, you pass the level and then you got to get to the next one. Sometimes I even like to think of it like books, right? It's like, okay, I've been in book one and now the book is ending and now it's time for me to move on into the second book of the series of my life. So the thing that I really want to encourage everybody to know is that we are all collectively going through this, like as a group, as a consciousness, as a family. Like we are being called to move on and to get to that next level. Now, for each of us, that's going to look a little bit different. In my group, I'm noticing people are making career shifts, people are going back to school, people are having awakenings, right? So some of them are going through little dark nights of the soul. That's the terminology that they like to use. And or a shadow period where maybe some things that have been hidden about your past or inside of your family or inside of certain situations are coming up. This could even be certain thought patterns that you have are now coming up to be exposed. So you might find yourself in a state of chaos, right? So for people who are specifically experiencing well, I'm not going through a career change and I'm not going through a breakup or I'm not going through, right? If there are no physical signs of change that is happening, then there is a chance that you might just be experiencing some level of emotional dysfunction or dysregulation. And that emotional dysregulation has come forward for you to really be able to see certain thought patterns that you are trying to break past. It shows the limitations that you have within your own mind that are not allowing you to get to the next level. That next level could be something that it has to do with the physical world, right? That could show you why you're not living up to your full potential professionally, why you're not living up to your full potential in your physical fitness, like whatever, right? But it is kind of showing you what your limitations are. Now, for everybody else that is seeing these, like recognizing like, oh, I'm about to start at this new thing. I'm about to start this new adventure, right? This new chapter of my life. That should also be happening for you as well. Okay? So I think as a whole, we're experiencing this like internal churning that is giving us the opportunity to process, to witness our internal world. And I'm going to take it a little bit farther because I do think that that's what I'm being called to do, which is really understanding that at the end of the day, you know, there's this concept that continuously comes forward, like the kingdom of heaven is within you. You know, don't look outward, look inward, right? There's a lot of this, like, it's not ever going to be outside of you. Everything that you are looking for is within you. And at the same time, experiencing peace or chaos, heaven or hell, right? That is also happening within you as well. And that choice of where you exist, in what dimension, right? In what vibration, in what emotion, in whatever's happening inside of you. Crazily enough, you have some control over that. And the control, firstly, comes from being able to witness what is actually going on inside of your brain. Once you kind of start mastering, getting good at witnessing yourself, you are going to be able to really start to understand yourself and others at a completely different level. Okay. So what is the practice for this? Alicia, what does this mean? So for those who are noobs, you know, and even for those who are seasoned, the one thing I'm going to have you do is close your eyes right now, or keep them open, whatever feels comfortable. But I want you to think the word hello. And I want you to say it over and over again. So the question becomes, who is the person who commanded the brain to think that? And also, who was the person listening to the brain thinking that? So it shows that at some capacity, like the breath, the brain can just, right? Just like the breath. It can, right? We have some parts of the how our brain is functioning is not controlled. We're not controlling it. It's just happening, right? But there's also this other aspect of the brain where, like, there is a piece of us that can command the brain to do something, to say something, to think something. And that is the creator in you. Because once you start training your brain to think a certain way, the rest of your life also begins to change. And the step before being the creator, for some of us, is the observer or is the witness. And the witness is the one who can hear the thoughts. Can you even hear what's going on inside of yourself to know what needs to be changed? So, again, for those of us who are going through some major transitions, for those of us who might be in a mental state that is mild, moderate to severe, right, of ruminating or getting frustrated about things, I highly recommend you I highly reassure you in this moment that you are not alone, that actually you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Like, this is what's supposed to be happening. And although it feels overwhelming, I highly encourage you to actually take some time with yourself, to sit down, to maybe write out some of these thoughts that you're having, so that way you can look at them and really know what's going on inside of your mind. Because sometimes what we can do is, rather than actually sitting and listening to ourselves, we can ignore it. And some of the things that your mind is bringing up are really important. And some of the things that your mind is bringing up are just silly nonsense. It's silly fears. It's the imagination running wild. And it's important to sit down and really figure out the difference. Because the other really crazy thing about the brain is sometimes we can fixate on something, but that's because we want to avoid the thing that is really bothering us. And I know in my life that's something that I've done a lot of, right? Just kind of been like, okay, this is bothering me, this is bothering me. And I feel like I have no control over it. And so I try to control other aspects of my life. And by allowing my mind to fixate on the things that I can control, they get out of control. I get out of control because I'm avoiding the thing that's actually bothering me. Does that make sense? The last thing I want to say, because I want to keep these videos as short as possible, is that, for those who might need clearing, cleansing, cord cutting, energy balancing, I am here. Okay. All of my services are donation based. And depending on what service is, right? Even like a cord cutting or a soul retrieval, like all of those things, we really need to have like a discussion about what are we retrieving? Are we ready to retrieve it? And what are we letting go of? And are we serious about letting go of it? Right. So I wanted to make sure that people knew that if there is some dysregulation or imbalances that are happening specifically in the spiritual body, that I am here to help with that. And I also wanted to, if anybody has watched this video to the end who has received my services, drop some comments down below. If you feel safe, right, of how it helped, maybe encouraging others to do it, and or maybe if you notice some people in your life who might really benefit from it, offering it to them, saying, hey, like, I want to share this video. This is Alicia. I think that you might really benefit from just like sitting with her. And again, sometimes it's not even about having to get somebody on the table and do energy work with them, right? Like sometimes it's just about having the presence of somebody who is open to helping you transmute and transform what is at present. So I'm here for that. So thank you so much for those who watched. Thank you so much who are transforming and going with it. Thank you so much who are being open to going with this flow. All of the tools that I provide are to optimize this transition, because ultimately there is nothing in this world that can keep you from your destiny except for you. But the destiny is always going to find you, if you don't actively participate in it, you passively participate in it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I trust fully in your journey. I trust fully in how you show up to your journey. I trust that whoever needed this message, needed this reminder, or needed this reassurance, that this video will find you. And I just want you to know that I believe in you, and that if you need any help or support, that it is here. So everybody have a wonderful week. Enjoy the ride, and don't forget to take time, even just 5 minutes, to sit with yourself and connect with yourself this week. Okay. All right. Bye.